We'll call the committee to local government to order. Alex, please take the roll.
Henderson, Berger,
Here.
Beck, Black, Bratton, Crawford, Nicola, Nuremberg.
We do have a quorum. We'll move into executive session. Asking for a second.
Second.
Second received. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We'll take up House Bill 1788, sponsored by Senator Henderson. I move that we take up Senate Bill 1788. Do I have a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes appear to have it. This is Representative Murphy. Is this the one?
Yeah, you're good. Yep.
Okay. This is Representative Murphy's bill dealing with recurring campaign contributions. Senator Black, as the handler, is there anything else you would like to share or discuss the changes in the sub?
Thank you, Senator. Yes, in the substitute, I have added the Senate Bill 976 that I sponsored and the committee heard it at the beginning, allows registered lobbyists to maintain candidate committees for the purpose of local offices if the lobbying does not conflict with that local office. We heard that right at the beginning. And then Senate Bill 1791 by Senator Searpoy, caps would apply to self-funding candidates. So that would limit self-funding candidates to the $2,400 max. Of course, they could, again, they're a PAC supporting that candidate's unlimited. So those are the things included in the sub.
Any questions for the senator? We do have a committee substitute, 5473 S.04C, and I move that we adopt the substitute. Do I have a second? Second. Is there any discussion on the substitute? All those in favor of adopting the substitute say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes have it. I move that we vote House Bill 1788 with Senate committee substitute out of committee do pass. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Alex, please call the roll.
Henderson, Berger,
Aye.
Beck, Black,
Aye.
Bratton, Crawford, Nicola,
No.
Nuremberg.
By a vote of 5-1, we do pass House Bill 1788 with the Senate committee substitute. Next is House Bill 2057. I move that we take House Bill 2057. Do I have a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes appear to have. This is Representative Vernetti bill dealing with entertainment district for the Lake of Chesterfield. Are there any questions? I now move that we vote House Bill 2057 out of committee do pass. Do I have a second? Is there any discussion? Alex, please call the roll.
Henderson, Berger,
Aye.
Beck, Black,
Aye.
Bratton, Crawford, Nicola, Nuremberg.
By your vote of 6-0, House Bill 2057 is voted do pass. We will now move into out of executive session. Oh, got one more?
Yeah, we got one more in the very back. They kind of stuck together.
Okay, there it is. I now move that we take up Senate Bill 2125. Do I have a second? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes appear to have it. This is Representative Banderman's bill dealing with different provision relating to the Secretary of State's office. I now move that we vote House Bill 2125 out of committee do pass. Do I have a second? Is there any discussion? Senator from Dallas.
I'm going to vote for it. I don't love that subpoena power piece, but I am going to support the bill in committee.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Alex, please call the roll. Oh, Senator Beck, I didn't see you, sorry.
So I'm going to be voting no on this bill, but it's due to partly what Senator Crawford just said and another section. I'm fine with the fees in order to keep the Secretary of State's office running, but I don't like adding these other bills on here. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other discussion or comments? Alex, please call the roll.
Henderson, Berger. Aye. Beck. No. Black. Aye. Bratton. Crawford. Aye. Nicola. Aye. Nurnberg. No.
By your vote of 4-2, we voted do pass on Senate Bill 2125. Moving out of executive session into regular session, we will take up, let's see where we're at here.
You don't have any more scripts, so now it's just part.
Okay. House Bill 1940, Representative McGaugh, whenever you're ready, please. Welcome to the Senate. I haven't seen you all year, so glad to see you here.
Thank you, Senator. I'm glad to see you, too, and most of the members on this committee I served with in the House, so it's nice to see a friendly committee. For the record, I'm Representative Peggy McGaugh. I serve the 7th District, which was formerly Senator Black's, which he's left the building, so I bring to you today House Bill 1940. That is a very important bill to local governments. So briefly, currently, in order to qualify to run public notices and legal advertisements, a newspaper must have been published regularly for a period of 3 years, or must be the successor newspaper to a defunct newspaper and begin publication no later than 30 days after the termination of the prior newspaper. This bill reduces the time period of regular publication from 3 years to 1 year, and increases the time period from 30 days to 90 days within which a successor newspaper must begin publication. The bill reduces the time period of regular publication from 3 years to 1 year and increases the time period from 30 days to 90 days within a successor newspaper must begin publication. I'll give you an example here in a minute. The bill also allows a newspaper that has been purchased or newly established by another newspaper that satisfies these conditions to qualify. In other words, it's 3 changes. If a newspaper closes, the newspaper can resume publication within 90 days and keep its legal status. A new newspaper will be published regularly and consecutively for 1 year instead of the current 3 years to qualify as a legal newspaper. If an existing Missouri newspaper that qualifies for publication and public notices starts a newspaper in another city, the new startup will qualify as a legal newspaper immediately. And this is happening all over northern Missouri. I don't know if it's happening in your area. Lots of the small town newspapers are having to close, and some of the larger newspapers are picking them up, but they currently have to qualify for the existing statute, but the local governments still need to have legals for their election advertising, for their bid notices, everything that, as you know, having served in local government, needs to go on for publication of legal notifications. So I'm a firm believer in newspapers, and I think we need to do what we can to keep newspapers running and public notices circulating. So this bill would certainly help with that. And in my research for this bill, I found out that Missouri's 3-year time period is the longest in any state in the United States. So we would be bringing this in line with other states. So with that, I would take questions.
Any questions of the witness? Hearing, seeing none, people to testify in support of, please come forwards. Make sure you fill out a witness form and leave it at the desk, please.
Good afternoon, Senator Berger and members of the committee. I'm Chad Stebbins, the Executive Director of the Missouri Press Association, representing about 200 newspapers throughout the state. Thank you, Representative McGaugh, for sponsoring the bill and getting it through the House and for providing an excellent summary today. Missouri Press supports this bill and has long advocated for it, and As she mentioned, it does bring us in line with other states. Having the 1-year requirement for a newspaper to be in business to become a legal paper is important. There was a situation in Trenton, Missouri this past year. The longtime Trenton Republican Times went out of business in June. New paper was started in September, the Trenton Telegraph, but they, under this bill, without this bill, they would have to wait 3 years before they could become a legal paper. If this bill is passed, they only have to wait 1 year. So that's important. And Representative McGaugh also mentioned the requirement of moving the period to reestablish a paper from 30 days to 90 days, which is also very important. This happened a few years ago in Willow Springs. The Howe County News stopped publishing, and so the clock was on. They had 30 days to find a new owner, a successor, and former State Treasurer Wendell Bailey was involved with that. And on day 29, they found new owners from St. Louis, Ron and Amanda Mendez, to come to that community, Willow Springs, and publish a paper. So that was a very close call, though. We much would have preferred they had 90 days to find a replacement owner. So I'd be happy to take any questions.
Any questions of this witness? Seeing none, thank you. Anyone else to testify in support of, please come forwards. Proceed whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Richard Sheets with the Missouri Municipal League, and we want to go on a record in support of House Bill 1940. And thank Representative McGaugh for sponsoring, and then the great summary. She definitely explained the real need for this. But I just wanted to inform the committee, this is a statewide issue. I mean, alongside members of the league, we've always heard this issue as, trying to find papers to publish those important notices to the public, and this really will solve a real problem we have in the state. I'll try to answer any questions if I can.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions of this witness?
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else to testify in support of, please come forwards.
Missouri Association of Counties, us two. Steve Hobbs.
Anyone else to testify in support of? Anyone to testify in opposition to? Anyone here for informational purposes only? Thank you. That concludes our hearing on House Bill 1940. Next is House Bill 2600. Representative Farnan, please come forward. Nice to see you here too, sir.
Nice to see you. And thank you for hearing my bill today. I'm Jeff Farnan. I represent the 1st District, 4 counties in the very far northwest part of the state. I'm here today to talk about House Bill 2600, which helps struggling ambulance districts survive and empowers communities to build better emergency medical systems. Rural health care depends on reliable emergency responses. This bill strengthens that foundation. It modernizes how ambulance districts operate with a focus on local control, transparency, and voter involvement. It establishes a clear, consistent process for district consolidation. This bill has had broad support. It passed the House Committee on Local Government 17-0, the House floor 148-0, and has a Senate companion sponsored by Senator Black, which is working its way through the House now. The main goal of this bill is simple. It makes sure an ambulance shows up every time someone needs help. And I'd be welcome to take any questions.
Any questions of this witness? Seeing none, people to testify in support of, please come forwards.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Brent Hemphill. I'm here on behalf of the Missouri Ambulance Association. This was a bill that has been worked on, and I want to compliment Representative Farnan for championing this, as well as Senator Black. We had a district, and we've had several districts that want to consider consolidation, and the process to do that was just a nightmare because you lost your CMS billing number. You lost your ability to bill Medicaid. You lost your ability to bill insurance companies until you dissolved both districts and then actually reinstated a new district. It just created a nightmare. And so this bill streamlines that so the service can continue. to run and function. The board is allowed to run in various components, whether that is an at-large or a district-based service. So imagine, just like you all as senators, you may have at-large districts that would best serve them, because it's very hard to get people to run for these offices. And I don't know, I know Senator Beck doesn't have any ambulance services, but like Senator Crawford, you have several. We have to beg people to run for these offices. It goes without pay, but it is incredibly important. This bill is that culmination of those conversations from around the state to allow districts to come together in a streamlined fashion where service isn't disrupted. And so we do have to tweak a few things on the Senate Bill 975 that's now over in the other chamber, but this bill, we worked through it extensively with various members who had concerns. We still have input with the county commission, with the county clerk, so it is a working together process. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions of this witness? Seeing none, anyone else to testify in support of, please come forward. Again, a reminder about your filling out your witness testimony form, please.
Good afternoon, committee. Good afternoon, Senator Berger. Green light. Okay. I'm Philip Ray, presiding commissioner of Grundy County. I've been a licensed EMT since 2008, and now I'm administering an EMS service, one of two in the state of Missouri that's administered by the county commission. I fully recognize the threat of collapse in small rural EMS services, and in some cases, consolidation may become necessary to preserve any semblance of continued service, as you mentioned. And while this may be the case, the fundamental elements of the democratic process and local accountability must not be weakened for the sake of administrative efficiency or political convenience. So essentially what we have here is Senate Bill 975 and House Bill 2600 without its modifications. Well, not good for the local people. They lose local control of it, and I'll get to why that's so important. However, the amendments that Representative Christensen put into place, albeit this is far from perfect, is a lesser of three evils. The implications of such actions of this bill would shift away from local control that has occurred in other forms of rural service regionalization, most notably hospitals. The similarities are difficult to ignore. Historically, many rural hospitals were governed by locally elected or appointed boards made up of people who lived in the community. When these hospitals faced financial system collapse, similar to what EMS faces now, they're often folded into larger regional health systems. Consolidation was sold to rural Missourians as the only way to save your hospital. Regional efficiency, they were told, was the key to survival of rural health care. The local boards were typically dissolved or downgraded to an advisory role with no real power, and once they were gone, decision-making powers and the money went to corporate headquarters in a distant city. All too familiar for people of North Missouri. It wasn't long before these corporate systems started closing high-cost essential services like labor and delivery. And through regionalization that was underway much earlier, it wasn't until 2010s that rural Missourians really started to feel the impacts, and those impacts continue to worsen. So, if the history of rural hospital regionalization has taught Missouri anything, it is that once local governance is sacrificed for a centralized corporate model, the services that communities rely on are often the first to vanish. Let's not repeat the mistakes of the past. Regional survival must not come at the expense of democratic process or the accountability owed to taxpayers of Missouri. So I'll circle back around and say, while this is far from perfect, the amendments that Representative Christensen put in are the lesser of three evils. The most significant correction with those amendments is a restoration of voter approval of district consolidation. It is about voter local control. It's about hanging on to what we can locally. It is our responsibility to the people to do so. So, thank you. Are there any questions?
Any questions? Senator Beck.
So I'm confused. Did you come up to testify in favor?
I did, because prior to the amendments being made, this was 975 and 2600 were far from perfect. The bringing it back to local taxpayer, I do support that, because the removal of that would be detrimental for rural Missourians.
I just wanted to be clear, so.
Yes, I am in support of this because without the support of this, and we go straight back to 975, it's far worse than this option.
As a lesser of three evils.
Yes, the lesser
All
of
right,
three
no problem.
evils. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions of this witness? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Anybody else to testify in support of, please come forward.
I'll be very brief, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Trent Ford. I'm a registered lobbyist with the Ambulance District Association of Missouri, here in support of the bill.
Any questions of this witness? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Anyone else to testify in support of? Anyone to testify in opposition to? Anyone for informational purposes only? Seeing none, thank you, Representative.
Thank you.
Next, we'll move into House Bill 2818. Representative Shields, nice seeing you too. Thanks for being here in the Senate. Yes. Proceed whenever you are ready.
Good afternoon, Chairman and Senators. I am Representative Brenda Shields, representing District 11 in St. Joseph, Missouri. House Bill 2018 allows St. Joseph to annex the St. Joseph Airport, known as Rosecrans Memorial Airport, into the St. Joseph city limits. I want to provide a quick history around this. The city of St. Joseph purchased 1,776 acres back in 1942. They've owned this land since 1942. They created the airport to support World War II efforts. Currently is the home of the 139th Airlift Wing and many private planes. In the past, the airport had commercial flights and was the training airport for TWA until TWA was purchased by American Airlines. And even though the airport is owned by the city, it has never been in the city limits. Several years ago, the 139th Airlift Wing asked the city if they could move their base to the north end of the airport, and because of federal law, all the buildings that the 139th currently occupy will be given to the city. Excuse me. To be able to take advantage of this great opportunity to grow St. Joseph and provide police protection in the area, the city would like to annex these 1,776 acres into the city limits of St. Joseph. But there's one small problem. The land is not contiguous to the city. There are two large farms, and statute doesn't allow the city to annex something that's not contiguous to it. One question I had in the House was, well, did the city ask the farm owners if they wanted to be in the city? And their answer was, thank you for asking, but no, we do not. So this is why it takes statute to allow the city to annex this land. The legislature has done this many times previously. An example that we can all relate to is the Jefferson City Airport. It doesn't touch the city, but we allowed them to be able to do that. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of this witness? Seeing none, anyone to testify in support of, please come forward. And again, reminder about the witness form.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Chairman, members of the committee, Mike Shoemaker, City of St. Joe. Representative Shields did an outstanding job of kind of boiling this down for you guys. We just want to pull it into city limits so we can look forward to future growth. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of this witness? Seeing none, anyone else to testify in support of?
Thanks for coming.
Anyone in opposition to? Anyone for informational purposes only? Representative Shields, any closing remarks?
No, we'd sure appreciate it. It's one opportunity we can use to grow our economy. So thank you.
Seeing no more business before the committee, this committee is finished. Make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Second, adjourned. That's a wrap.
Great job, Senator.
That's a wrap.